Greetings and welcome back. I'm the Angrynator, and today we're going to look at yet another Thumbelina movie. So, does this movie bring Don Bluth's version to shame, or does it make it a pure masterpiece in comparison? Only one way to find out.
The Adventures of Tom Thumb and Thumbelina is as 90s shit as it can get. For a direct-to-DVD movie produced in 2002, of course.
Oh yeah, you are going to see how 90s this movie can get, despite it being made in 2002.
A fun fact before we start the movie. It was only released internationally in Italy according to IMDb, and it got about 23,000 euros in the first week.
So safe to say that the movie bombed badly, which is why most people in Europe have never even heard of this movie. Well, apart from Italy, of course.
So we see that the movie is made by Miramax Productions, mostly known for taking copyright claims nowadays.
But since I'm a small channel that nobody gives a shit about, I'm pretty sure I'm in the safe zone.
And surprisingly enough, despite it being a rather unknown cast apart from some medium-sized names, we actually got Elijah Wood playing Tom Thumb.
You know, the guy from Lord of the Rings.
Anyway, it starts with a bit of backstory telling us how this creepy dude attempts to steal two small babies, not bigger in your thumb. But before all that, they tell us about how happy this city actually is.
Far from the eyes of the outside world.
You like the picture? It's supposed to emphasize on how happy this town is.
After that we cut to Mia 12 years later, or something like that. It's never actually clarified. But we see that Thumbelina is now a teenager, wouldn't you know it?
Can't have anything 90s related without a teen protagonist. Now we just need the overuses of the word extreme and we are good to go.
Extreme?
And she's in captivity in some sort of freak show circus, where she has to perform various stunts with animals.
Wait. Who is that mother and girl? Seriously, isn't there something off about them? I mean, what the fuck? It looks like the girl is older than the mother.
One of life's little accidents. Freak of nature.
Yeah, the person you admired 2 seconds ago is being called a freak of nature, and now suddenly you are terrified of them. What the hell, man?
After the show, she's scolded by this freak of a dude.
You're growing up smart and I don't like smart.
Before we move on, the obvious villain is in fact not the obvious villain. In fact, after the introduction of Tom Thumb, he's never even seen again.
So before that we of course has a song about love and being together and not alone.
Is there someone in this whole wide world for me?
Because it's been 10 minutes already, you got to have a song in there.
And I have to say, never in my life have I heard a more bland and boring song ever. Well, maybe the Thief and the Cobbler.
But that movie was a jumbled mess spanning over 5 decades of production. What is this movie's excuse? That the other bad Thumbelina movie also had songs?
Okay, we now cut to Tom Thumb, whose life has been the entire opposite of Thumbelina's. He's had a nice old man, some dogs, and
apparently also being raised by a showbiz nutjob.
it seems that this old dude named Ben, played by Robert, had a good life, and he tells Tom to move on as he's about to do himself.
But comes a time when everybody's gotta move on. For you, it's called growing up. For me, well...
Wow, this movie took a turn. And this is rather hard to say, but we are really not that invested in this guy. Seriously, we've seen him in 3 minutes? And despite their attempt at showing this evil ringleader and then Ben, it really doesn't help us feel anything for this sad moment.
Anyway, Thumbelina escapes her prison by the help of the mouse and monkey.
Monkey!
Which, by the way, can talk, adding the first bad movie trope, talking animals interacting with human beings. outside of Disney, who has actually made this work?
Thumbelina stumbles upon some bugs while Tom Thumb about 2 feet away from her, or maybe it's 1.5 feet, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, and this goes on a little while. Thumbelina and Tom Thumb and the bugs keeps missing each other as some sort of retarded hide and seek.
You know, to build up their meeting some more, I guess, instead of cutting away those 20 minutes to make it more tolerable to watch.
Well, they meet each other in the end with the bugs. Here, they even have the audacity to make fun of the classic names.
I do have a name. It's Thumbelina.
It's seriously like, yeah, we're the 90s, extreme to the max. You old folks, you doesn't get us. You got stupid names, yeah. Michael Jackson, yeah, right, that's a super name.
So after some time we are also introduced to 2 moles, one called Godfrey played by Jon Stewart and Daniel played by John Patrick White.
2 Johns? Huh, I wonder how those recording sessions went.
They start out by showing us a poop joke that's actually putting Dragon Ball to shame.
Raccoon guano.
And that is saying something.
Anyway, they speak to the Mole King, which is his name, by the way. I know, it's a generic villain name for a really generic villain. He's played by Peter Gallagher, and he is blind, not realizing that all of his subjects has left him behind, leaving only Godfrey and Daniel left.
And you sorta get the idea, they have to play every subject they can in order to trick the king into thinking that everything is okay. Laurel and Hardy did this. That's how old it is.
Pardon me, are you any relation to the butler? Oh, yes, they are twins. You see, one was born in Detroit and the other in the army.
Or for you younger viewers, Avatar did this too.
Aha! I knew it. I knew you were the same guy. You're the shop owner and the boat guy.
The difference being those 2 examples did it way better, with more interactions and a better execution.
So the mole for some reason tells the king that Thumbelina is the right choice for a bride to him, as she is beautiful and young, I guess.
We've just seen the most beautiful creature in the forest.
Stunning! Lovely!
Yeah, the moles think she's pretty, while the bugs...
It only has 2 arms. Well, it looks like pond sludge.
Yeah, enough said.
They kidnap Thumbelina and the Mole King has a song ready for her since she is in a not really maybe relationship with Tom Thumb.
There's someone else.
Yeah, they bigot and argued together, meaning that of course they are meant to be together.
Is it 'cause I'm vermin? You recoil from my touch. Is it 'cause I'm vermin? You don't smile very much.
Meanwhile, that is happening, the Bug Girls does what they can to woo Tom Thumb.
I think he's awfully dreamy, really, and I would love so very dearly if you would like.
Since he's attractive and Thumbelina isn't. Make up your damn mind about the Munchkin species!
Thumbelina meets Albert Sparrow, played by Rachel Griffin.
So, Peter Griffin got a new wife. Wow, I mean, I knew the show was going down the drains, but... What? Oh, Griffith. Spelled like, that. Yeah, I probably mispronounced that, but I mean seriously, that's not the end of the world.
What are you in for?
I have no idea.
Godfrey, Daniel, what's on the menu for my engagement dinner?
Your favorite?
Or maybe it is. Whole cooked sparrow. No, it doesn't sound that good.
But of course they manage to escape even though the sparrow cannot fly.
I can't fly.
What?
And I think I said something similar to this in my Christmas special. Yeah, it's a Christmas movie. They have to save Christmas. You know, in some sort of stupid way that he's going to fly. Yeah, let's just put that in somewhere around here. I mean, the movie obviously doesn't aim for new material, so why should I?
Well, they escape, have an awkward moment, and then Thumbelina and Tom Thumb is captured by this kid, probably in family with Igor.
Because the movie couldn't decide what type of villain they wanted, so they decided to throw one of every type in there.
This kid apparently wants to dissect Thumbelina and the rest, but she's a clever girl, I guess.
Oh, closer.
Hey!
So they managed to escape again.
Seriously, was this movie the sole inspiration for those escape rooms?
They free the mouse and they are invited to a party of sorts. I think at least.
I hereby proclaim a celebration in honor of our 2 new friends and their heroic deeds.
Here Tom Thumb and Thumbelina gets dressed to kill, or more like dressed to be in an 80s music video.
For a movie that was released in 2002 that smells so much like the 90s, this is just pure 80s. What the hell? Seriously, adding snippets of different decades doesn't make your movie timeless. It makes it a jumbled fuck of random shit.
It does look like shit.
They have that awkward teen love moment ending in them being right in front of a waterfall, falling in love. I think.
Everyone will go 1, 2, cha-cha-cha, 1, 2, cha-cha-cha, 1, 2, cha-cha-cha.
Wow, I thought the villain song was bad. Seriously, I even thought that the Forever Alone song was bad. But this? This is just repeating cha-cha-cha over and over until you hit that 5-minute mark.
1, 2, cha-cha-cha, 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 1, 2, cha-cha-cha.
Stop! That's enough. That's 5 minutes.
So thank God the Mole King comes in, since he said his song was supposed to be the lousiest and steals Thumbelina away to marry her to get the rights for the 1, 2, cha-cha-cha.
Okay, he just wants her because his subjects think she's pretty. But the other one would have made more sense and more enjoyable to watch. And also, who the fuck marries someone because others think they are pretty?
Also, Tom Thumb comes to the rescue, since the female mouse having as much screen time as White Paper.
No, seriously, White Paper has a big role in most shitty cartoons.
I used to date the guy, okay?
Anyway, the point is, the mouse used to date the Mole King and therefore knows the way in there, but how can they possibly get in?
It so happens that the bugs learned the sparrow to fly, even though technically speaking, they fly in their own different way, so that would actually be impossible. But this movie got 1, 2, cha-cha-cha, so who cares about scientific stuff?
They crash the wedding. It is revealed to the Mole King that his subjects left probably years ago.
I can see. I can see. 2 moles?
So the Mole King steals Thumbelina away once again, resulting in a very weird chase scene with repetitive lines and whatnot. The 2 moles, Daniel and Godfrey, tries to escape, but the mouse lady won't let them.
Not so fast, furballs. First you got to deal with Mama Leola.
Also, Daniel got boobs. Why? I do not know. And neither does the movie because it doesn't clarify it.
They manages to rescue Thumbelina, and of course the Mole King goes nuts after they break his monocle.
No! Since it was expensive, I guess.
They find a way out by using the 2 moles, who are now good guys, I guess, tunneling a way out of the place, but they get out right at a large ravine. But to all luck, the sparrow is there to catch them, and the Mole King plummets to his own doom.
And yeah, that's about it, people. Also, Godfrey and Daniel both want to be the new king, having their own reasons.
If you think for 1 minute that you're gonna be the new king after I spent all that time dressing up as maids and ladies-in-waiting and things, you're out of your mind. Gimme!
That doesn't explain anything, you cross-dressing, maybe weirdo.
And Tom Thumb and Thumbelina returns to the mouse village, but of course the sparrows still haven't figured out how to land properly. Believe me, it's a semi-running joke, and they smash right into the waterfall, revealing that Thumbelina and Tom Thumb is indeed Smurfs.
After that village of little people.
Village of little people?
Yeah, or Munchkins, I guess.
Here Thumbelina meets her parents, which reveals her real name.
Princess Maya? Princess Maya!
And she was in fact a princess all along, with her mother being alive. I knew it wasn't Disney who made it.
And of course she was supposed to be wedded away to some Prince Charming from her own wet dream fantasies.
No, seriously, there is a silhouette of this guy in her Forever Alone song. Also, she was a baby when she was kidnapped. Now that is just creepy.
But of course, being a strong, independent woman, she turns down Prince Charming, saying someone else is in her life.
You see, there's somebody else. And if I'm the princess, then I should be able to be with whomever I want. Right?
You go, girl. If you're playing your cards right, you might end up in the new Star Wars movie.
But her parents, the king and the queen, understands and even tells her the prince was a backup plan.
I know all this takes some getting used to. The prince is really a backup, you see.
Yeah, royalty's weird, let's leave it at that.
And of course, she was supposed to marry someone by the name of Horace.
His name was Horace.
Horace?
Horse!
Which I might not have shown in the review, but that is the only word Tom Thumb remembers as a baby. Which of course means he is indeed the lost prince. So many loopholes, people.
And they get married and live happily ever after.
That is until Disney buys the rights and mass-produce straight-to-DVD sequels. Oh wait, it is already straight-to-DVD. Then they mass-produce straight-to-Betamax?
Anyway, the movie is bad. Really bad. It smells of the bad bucket of the 90s and the very bottom of that. The characters are the most generic shit I've seen in a while. Generic female protagonist, generic good guy who is short, generic sassy lady, and the most generic villain or villains I've seen in some time. Seriously, the evil ringmaster, he was barely in the movie. The Frankenweenie kid, barely in the movie. The Mole King that's just badly written, yeah, let's use him the most. The art style is decent, especially for generic 90s style. I mean, it reminds me of the Haunted Pumpkin in Sleepy Hollow, which, come to think of it, was also a 2000 movie. Maybe it is indeed early 2000 style I'm thinking of. Yeah, it probably is. But I have to say, Thumbelina's head is way too big and it bothered me all throughout the movie. It should have been smaller. I mean, Tom Thumb is okay, his proportions is just right. The story is done to death, maybe not with these characters, but in general, there's nothing new, nothing to really separate it from the generic bucket. One plus I must say, though, it did win a Golden Reel Award in 2003 for Best Sound. And that is true, the voice actors does a good job despite what they got to work with. And the overall sound effects makes you entertained and they just seems to fit in. But that is sadly not enough in my opinion to really help the movie. It's just generic and frankly, quite boring.
And that was the adventures of Tom Thumb and Thumbelina. And I have to say this, but Don Bluth version is still the best. I'm the Angrynator terminating bad movies for your entertainment.
The prince is really a backup, you see.